So we want to talk about self-care in times of VUCA today. But of course, in doing so, we first need to have a closer look at what VUCA stands for. The United States Army War College was one of the first organizations to use the VUCA acronym. Military planners were worried about the radically different and unfamiliar international security environment that had emerged, so they used VUCA to describe it. VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Even if we are not facing life-threatening danger nowadays, more and more people feel that their work life is a never-ending series of surprises, instability, and ambiguity. Those can provoke both physical and psychological stress for individuals, even when their lives are not actually in danger. We have known for decades that it is not the isolated instances of stress that cause harm, but rather long-term exposure to stress over months and years that is the greatest danger. Living in a VUCA environment means that our bodies are in a permanent state of readiness to face whatever danger may emerge. When the body is out of alignment from overworking, we waste a vast amount of mental and physical resources trying to return to balance before we can move forward. As Jim Loehr and Tony Schwartz have written, if you have too much time in the performance zone, you need more time in the recovery zone, otherwise you will burn out. So what is stress? According to psychologist and Professor Richard Lazarus, stress is a condition or feeling experienced when a person perceives that demands exceed the personal and social resources the individual is able to mobilize. This means that we experience stress if we believe that we don't have the time, resources, or knowledge to handle a situation. In other terms, we experience stress when we feel out of control. So let's have a look at what happens in our bodies once we get stressed. Walter Cannon identified the well-known fight-or-flight response as early as in 1932. His work showed that when an organism experiences a shock or perceives a threat, it quickly releases hormones that help it to survive. In us humans, as in other animals, these hormones help us to run faster and fight harder. Let's have a look at a couple of hidden effects. Not only life-threatening events trigger this reaction, we experience it almost any time we come across something unexpected or something that frustrates our goals. Unfortunately, this mobilization of the body for survival also has negative consequences, such as reduced energy, irritability, anger, confusion, reduced concentration, efficiency and productivity problems, tension and body pain, sleep problems, interpersonal problems, and many more. So what types of stress do we experience? Dr. Karl Albrecht defined 4 common types of stress. First is time stress. You experience time stress when you worry about time or the lack thereof. Anticipatory stress describes stress that you experience concerning the future. You experience situational stress when you're in a scary situation that you have no control over. And last, encounter stress that revolves around people. So how do we recover and build resilience? Most people assume that if you stop doing a task, like answering emails or writing a paper, that your brain will naturally recover. But surely everyone has had times where you lie in bed for hours unable to fall asleep because your brain is thinking about work. That's because rest and recovery are not the same thing. Stopping does not equal recovering. This is why, in this self-directed session, I invite you to exchange and explore the following 3 dimensions. What are your self-care strategies? What's the importance of mindset? And what are you doing to support your team? So let's get started.